Welcome back to Baking for Fun. Today we're making pumpkin pie. You're going to be needing 370 milliliters of evaporated milk. We're using Carnation's brand, but feel free to use any type of brand you like. Just make sure it's evaporated milk, and again it is 370 milliliters. Next, we're going to be needing 1 3/4 cups of pure pumpkin. You can find this in the aisle with the other pie fillings. And this can is a very big can at 796 milliliters, and we only need 425. So we used about half of the can, and this is what it looks like all measured out. It's very orange and thick consistency, and make sure you're using pure pumpkin. Next, you're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar. Make sure it's packed, so 1 cup of packed brown sugar, 2 eggs, just 2 regular eggs, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, so not a lot of flour, just 2 tablespoons, 1 teaspoon of allspice. You can also substitute this to pumpkin spice. We just prefer using allspice, but if you were to use pumpkin spice, it would again be just 1 teaspoon of that. Half a teaspoon of salt, just regular table salt. And finally, a pie shell. This is the brand that we're using. It comes with 2 deep dish pie shells. It's Tender Flakes. And this is what the pie looks like by its own. It's already in a tin, so you don't have to put it in another plate or whatever. You just put the filling in there. Alright, let's get started. Alright, the first thing you're going to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, you're going to take a big bowl, and we're going to put in our pure pumpkin. Again, this is a really thick mixture, so make sure you try to get everything out of whatever measuring tool you use to measure it out. Alright, so we put all of our pure pumpkin in the bowl, and now we're going to take our evaporated milk. And what we did, we just took our can and put a little hole, just a little one, so it doesn't splatter everywhere. And we're just going to put all of that in. While pouring the evaporated milk, you want to make sure to mix it with the pumpkin. Now we just poured the entire contents of the evaporated milk into our pumpkin, and we of course mixed it. Next, we are going to take our packed brown sugar, and it's splattered, but that's okay. Now we're going to mix that as well. Okay, it's pretty good. Now we're going to take our 2 eggs and just plop them in there and mix. Now I'm going to substitute my small whisk for a bigger whisk, and you could also use a mixer if you want, but I find just using a metal whisk works fine. Okay, now we're going to add the flour. Alright, so we mixed the flour in, and now we're just going to put in our allspice and our salt and mix that. Alright, so we mixed in all of our ingredients, and this is what we have. It is a pretty runny consistency and thin, but it will thicken while it's cooking, of course. So what you're going to do is you're going to just take a flat pan and put your pie shell over it. We just do this in case it overflows when it's cooking, which it usually doesn't, but you know, just in case. So you're going to take your pie shell and you're going to slowly pour in the mixture. That. Stop sometimes just to check it. You can put a little bit more. There we go. And if you have some remaining mixture, that's fine. You want to make sure that you use a 10-inch pie. We actually got a 9-inch pie by accident, so we couldn't put the entire mixture. So if you're going to go buy a pie shell, make sure it's 10-inch, and it should fit all of the mixture that we have. Alright, now what we're going to do is that we're going to put this in our preheated oven of, again, 350 degrees, and we're going to cook this. And this is going to sound like a long time, but trust me, it's going to work. We're going to cook this for around 60 to 70 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in for 60 minutes, check it after 60 minutes, of course, see where it's at, and we're going to show you guys what it looks like and tell you if we need to put it in for another 10 minutes or if it's ready at 60 minutes. So see you guys in a little while. Alright, so we're back. Like we said, we put it in the oven for 60 minutes on the lowest rack. And then after 60 minutes, we looked at it and we decided it needed 10 more minutes to finally finish cooking. But we moved it on the higher rack because we didn't want the bottom to burn. So I suggest doing that if you're going to leave it in for another 10 minutes. Now we're just going to let it cool down and come back to show you the final result.